Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. Today is March 27th. No, March 7th. Anyways, yeah. 2 months. 2 months we worked on this build. Look at all that detail and work that's put into it. 2 months. 2 months. This is all going bye-bye. Yup. We have to reset it and restart. The hull issue, after a couple of hours of discussion with the guys and working with Blue Phobes and iPanic, we've come to the conclusion that this hull just cannot be salvaged. Ergo, the decks in it have to be. It's just, yeah, we got to restart, guys. I really hate to say it this late in the game, 2 months into it, but by filling in the decks, we sort of kind of hid the flaw, and the flaw just kept exponentially getting worse and worse and worse. And no matter, I've been working on this deck 10 down through here, and I can't overcome some of the issues that are causing some problems. As much as I'd love to, I worked with iPanic. I talked to Blue. I even talked with M. Heller, and she's like, yeah, I agree. We need a new plan. And the plan was to fix this hull and the decks in it. I tried that, and it's just too hard to address the issues with the hull not being symmetrical. So yeah, what we did is I had Blue Phobes go over to the nebula, pull the nebula hull or section of it, and check the lines on it, and they were really nice lines. So he started cleaning it. Then iPanic and I finished cleaning it, and then we mirrored it. Or well, I mirrored it and started working on it. And as you can see here, don't show you all that stuff because that just doesn't really matter. So I kind of did a sand drop and gravel drop to see where things line up, and it's almost spot on, with the exception that this hull is, believe it or not, 15 blocks longer. And if in the last video I mentioned that the other hull seemed to be too short. Well, it was. This hull is not short. It is 15 blocks longer. It is 2 blocks wider and 2 blocks taller. No big issues. And it has a really nice sloping curve to it. And as you can see, it looks pretty decent. I mean, you can see the phaser strip is uniform pretty much all the way around. And what we did is Blue Phobes and I, after I did this, I did a lot of work by myself, and then Blue Phobes was able to get on, and he and I integrated the impulse engine from the previous hull. Then we also integrated the Cobra head. It did take some effort. We had to do some recontouring work through here. Not too bad really. All it was just we had to follow this line and then shape it into this. It was just a real minor tweak down through this, the blue, and a little bit of the orange section. Really, it wasn't. Excuse me. Is that supposed to be blue? No, it's supposed to be orange. Just a real minor adjustments through here, and then there was some minor adjustments that had to be done up here. Blue had to add this extra layer here because it stopped on this one, and then we did a little bit of shaping around through here, but nothing too major. It married really well. Now these are the outline of where the escape pods go, and these are 9x9s. These are too big. I realized that working on them that they need to be smaller. I should go with the 7x7 pattern. The 9x9 is just too huge. It gives me too many issues, and I'll show you in a second what I mean by issues. But they look good, and then it's the right size of the hull. But what it is, a 9x9 is the silo. The silo this would be the wall of the silo, and of course, if you do that, then it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shuttle or escape pod. So it is a 7x7 escape pod, but the top of the thing here is where the silo walls would be, but you would not see the silo walls. All you would see is this hatch right here, this 7x7 hatch. So, also put some windows in for where the arboretum goes. I can tell you, didn't know the arboretum was such a small room, but it is a small room nonetheless. Also, we reversed the top of the cobra head here. Beforehand, one of the problems that I guess crept in when they were doing their fit and finish work for the hull was this was actually on the build, the first version of the D rebuild is on this side, and Blue said it has to be on this side, so we went ahead and flipped it, and it's now flipped and so forth, and looks pretty good. You can see down here how it all lines up and all that stuff, looking like that was stone. And when I went ahead and migrated one of the say I think it was deck 10 over to here, it pretty much lined right up where we needed to be. Now there are some differences along the cobra head here. The cobra head is thicker in areas than the deck plans, so they're a little they still don't line up perfect in any way, shape, or form, but they do line up a lot better in this hull than they did in that other one. Also, if you look here, you can see the captain's yacht is centered beautifully right where it needs to be. So is the cargo tube, and the line just goes right along the hull, and as you can see, it just looks really good through there. And don't mind this is just placement stuff. And then along the top of the hull, really nicely done. It just goes right up through here and lines right up well with the command module and all this other stuff. We did put the command module and I did put these in. Somebody told me what these are. I think they're sensors. But yeah, there's actually in either the Whitefire plans or the Steinbach plans, there's actually nothing attached to these. So I think I'll contribute this section of the ship right here to these sensors around the front of it when I start setting stuff up. And that being said, did I do any modifications to this? No, I haven't. But I went ahead and got the Steinbach Deck 10 and dropped it, and I've been sitting here tweaking it out and working it and stuff. One of the problems I'm running into with the 9 by 9 I guess I don't know, it's kind of hard to say how it would work because the 7x7s makes it a 5x5, so the escape pods are 5x5, not 7x7. The overall hatch is 7x7, that includes a silo. So the hatches I have on this build are too large, and they're causing issues when I place them on the bottom of the hull here. Now this corridor, if you were to follow this line along this edge right here, it goes straight on through these these turbo lifts right through here, stays straight on, and then it becomes the sidewall for another corridor, which you can see the center of which it was here. Now I moved this corridor over so that I could fit these escape pods in here, or these lifeboats in here, and they all seem to fit pretty well through here, no issues. But of course, square blocks, round hull, yeah, they start not wanting to fit where they need to fit and stuff, and it starts causing issues. And then I move these, and I realize that this is supposed to have 6 escape pods and not 5, and this is supposed to have 6 and not 7, and the only way I could make it work was to put 7 in here and 5 over here. I did not want to move this corridor a third time, so yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the 7x7s and move my corridors back to where I want them if I can, and all that other stuff, because I don't it doesn't look bad, don't get me wrong. It's something that bothers me. I want to keep it as accurate as possible so I don't have to worry about too many other changes and stuff. But yeah, this deck 10 kind of really well lays in here. Now I only did this first quarter section. I haven't done anything as far as setting up the back section. Again, this is all right now just me exploring options and not really doing much of anything. But what we're going to end up doing is I'll bring the old decks from the version 1 rebuild to this hull here and start working on them, resetting them for this hull and fixing them and tweaking them where need be. And I'll probably do those all the way down through deck 10 as the Whitefire plans to help me get placement and marker points for conversion to the Steinbach plans. So I have to rebuild those decks in order to get my spacings for reworking these decks to the Steinbach plans. Uh, it's a little extra work, but you know what? In the end, we'll end up with two versions. We'll end up with the Whitefire plans for the saucer, and we'll end up with the Steinbach plans for the saucer. And since I've already got pretty much all the way through deck 10 of the Whitefire plans, I'll go ahead and use those as my base markers, baseline, and then modify them as I go down each deck so that the Steinbach plans will be modified or set up, and they'll basically be sized correctly for each other and for the hull. One thing I did not realize with the Steinbach plans is the Steinbach plans don't have a deck 2B. Look at the plans. I compared them side by side and went down sheet by sheet by sheet and didn't realize that until, just today, I guess, would be a good day for it. The Steinbach plans are shorter deck-wise. With the Whitefire plans, we have a deck 1, 1B, deck 2, 2B, then deck 3, then deck 4, which is the hangar. Now with the Steinbach plans, you have deck 1, deck 1B, deck 2, deck 3, hangar, deck 4. So yeah, we're missing. If we go with the Steinbach plans and do a conversion from the Whitefire plans, we're going to end up with an extra deck. And I'm not sure yet how I'm going to address that issue. I'll deal with it when I get to it, which will be in a couple of days. I assume probably a week or two or whenever. But I'll deal with it when I get to it. Anywho, actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I'm recording several episodes back to back. So I'm going to show you how I dealt with it in the next episode. I think. Probably. Certainly. Definitely. But as far as this build goes, this hull is a lot nicer. It's a lot cleaner. Panic and I in blue, as well as blue, spent a lot of time working it, shaping it, and even doing tests with it, seeing where windows go. And I did this tentative, the greener for windows, the yellow for the center of where lifeboats go, as kind of you can see here. And then I also used a different set of drawings, which are color drawings. These are based off of the Steinbach outer hull images, and this is an image I grabbed from the Dropbox of reference material for the Enterprise. So, and at first I was kind of wondering if these upper lifeboats match up with the lower lifeboat sections, and I don't think they do. I've compared the top and the bottom of the ship, and they don't line up. They're not supposed to. Excuse me. I should point that out. These do not match the bottoms in any way, shape, or form. They shouldn't. But what they do need to do, and if I can get around here, is they need to match where they, from like front to back, they should match up. And that's a big thing. See how they're in line here? That's a big issue that we had with the previous hull, is these were not lining up. Now if I could do it, that's going too far skewer here. See how they all line up through here? And they should all line up over here. And the phaser strip should be uniform, which, that's going to be a problem to do, but it shouldn't be too hard. But how they all line up like that, that's what we want. We want them all to line up. And thankfully, they do on this hull. And I've been adjusting, so like I said, I did all this stuff here and wanted to see where things fall. And I also put in these escape pods, and I'm kicking around whether or not I want to do the escape pod, the emergency turbo lift through the center section of the ship into the battle bridge, or move it off to the side into the battle bridge. I don't know yet. I really have to explore the plans. Now I did spend a lot of time trying to get it to come over here and come along the side and stuff, and I just couldn't get it to work the way I did with the previous plans. I don't know. It just doesn't want to marriage well. I'd have to shave some of the hull and put them in there and things like that. It was a real pain in the ass. So I figured, well, let's see if we can get it to do the top, and then if it comes down in here, then maybe move it over and then down. I don't know. I'm just exploring. The black here is part of the Whitefire plans. I just wanted to see how they look in here and if they'd line up. For the most part, they appear to line up pretty decently in here. I'm not sure what all these rooms are. This is part of deck 10, so obviously it's 2 decks below the This right here actually is not on deck 10. Deck 10 is right here. So this is actually positioned just above deck 9, between deck 8 and 9. And deck 8 is the battle bridge. Deck 9 is there, and then this right here sits there. What's supposed to be right there. So, yeah, it is what it is. Fly along here. Going with this oval pattern here. And that's based off of, if I can get through here without, there we go. It's based off of the pattern from down here. And one nice thing about this, with the hull that we're using here, these are completely, from the front to the back, are identical up until they meet where they merge with parts of the ship through here and stuff. Now, that being said, there are areas that obviously where it comes through here and stuff, they're not going to match up, because this is the secondary hull from the previous version of the build. This is the new hull. So this, when you get around to this side of it, they're not going to match up with the front part of the ship. Can't get away from that, just the way it is. I can tell you that none of these corridors come into the side of this. So this, it's okay that that doesn't match up, because this is technically a separate ship from the saucer. Or so these two are definitely two different versions, two different ships. And that being said, proceeding forward, I don't know if I'm going to do the Steinbach secondary hull or the Whitefire secondary hull, or both. I don't know yet. I really don't. I probably will go with whatever one's the simplest to do, and it doesn't take as much time and stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Sorry about the chat, guys. You guys can pause the video and read it if you want, or come on the server and partake in chat with the guys. So we'll fly down through here. Again, I don't think I've modified this in any way, shape, or form, as far as I can recall. Apart from, I don't know if I mentioned or not, I moved the turbo lift from here to here, and it just it looks better on this side of the ship. Now again, it's not a direct match to the location of the turbo lift on the port side, but you know, what can you do? You can only do so much. Let's go ahead, I'll show you here how it's probably off just a little bit. Actually, we better go from the side of it. This is the side. I'll grab that, and we'll just come over here through the cramped room here out to this side, and here it is right here. And oh, maybe they do line up. Oh, how about that? They do line up. Outstanding, except that the door is right there and not right here. So the doors are in different spots. Huh. I didn't think they'd line up. Well, I guess they do line up. Hot doggity. Huh. Cool. Very cool indeed. Very cool indeed. Yeah, I did do some work back here. Let's go take a look. All I did is basically kind of mark out where some stuff goes. I don't know yet how we're going to implement these. I think we're just going to do with the coupler design, where basically they come up from the secondary hull, and then the primary hull is, and they're just sort of like they connect right here. And say the bottom one will have like this kind of a pattern, and then the top one, we'll grab a different block. We'll have this. Let me grab my slow down here. So they're basically magnetically coupled, like that. And when the ship separates, obviously this section stays with its primary hull, and the hatch closes, and this section lowers down into the secondary hull. So this is the primary hull; it stays where it is, and the secondary hull lowers itself down in. And it seems like the simplest way to deal with it, in my opinion, and without having all this complicated stuff. Like beforehand, I figured they would come up like, say, something like this, and then they would shift and latch in like that. I don't think that's going to happen. So it doesn't seem like that would be something they would do. Obviously, by the 24th, 25th century, they're going to have some pretty decent ideas on how to keep things coupled together using magnetics and gravity and artificial gravity and all that other stuff. So, yeah, here we are in the 21st, 22nd century trying to imagine things 3 centuries from now, and I guarantee you whatever we imagine isn't going to be the way it's going to be when it's done. So, yeah. Yay! Anyways, I do appreciate you taking time to watch. Again, this is the Minetrek.net game server, and this is the Enterprise D build. If you'd hit that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd visit us on our Facebook page and like us there too, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you feel like donating to the server to help Miller keep it up, by all means, go to our GoFundMe page, link in the description below, and contribute. Again, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.